All right, so we're going to finish some of the problems from the notes, and we're going to be as well behaved as possible. So number 7 wants you to find the sine of A minus B. First step is find that formula and tell me what it says. Stretch it out. What does that formula say? Flip your page. This is where you guys talk.
Sine A cos B minus cos A sine B.
You're going to be in the video.
What if I don't want my voice to be? I have to be like one of the TV voices.
So the sine of A, the cosine of B, minus the cosine of A and the sine of B. Now, do we have angle information or do we have SOHCAHTOA information?
SOHCAHTOA.
We have the whole thing. Here's info on the sine of A. It's 4/5, and A is in quadrant 2. Information on angle B is that the cosine of B is negative square root of 3 over 2, and it's in quadrant 3. So I'm going to need to fill in the sine of A, the cosine of B, then the cosine of A, and the sine of B. And often the problem gives you a couple of those, and this one actually does. The sine of A is 4/5. And the cosine of B is negative square root of 3 over 2. But to get the cosine of A, we're going to draw a picture for angle A. It says that angle A is in quadrant 2. So here's my bow tie angle in quadrant 2. I'll put the A right down here. And since they gave me the sine of A, that means I know the opposite and the hypotenuse. The opposite is 4, the hypotenuse is 5. And then by the Pythagorean theorem, what would our adjacent side equal? 3. Good job. Now, if you remember a ways back, and I do keep repeating this, if you put a directional on this, would it be positive 3 or negative 3? Negative 3. And that actually will help you on these problems. Because you have to remember you're in quadrant 2 when you answer what the cosine of A is. So what's the cosine of angle A? Good job. Negative 3 over 5. It's in quadrant 2 where cosine is negative. Now the sine of angle B, all right, my info on B is here. So I'm going to draw it. It's in quadrant 3. It's a completely different angle, completely different triangle. There's my bow tie part. Cosine gives me adjacent over hypotenuse. So I can put a directional square root of 3 on there, a 2 on my hypotenuse. Does anyone know the opposite? It is 1. Yep, it is 1. And it's going down, and so it's actually negative 1. And you know your good job. You know your sine and your cosine are both negative in quadrant 3. So what's, if this is angle B then, what is the sine of angle B? Negative 1/2. Now we just have to do the arithmetic. The hard part is getting all these values. 4 times negative square root of 3 is negative 4 square root of 3 over 10. And negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3 over 10. And we cannot combine those numerators, so they end up as separate parts all over 10. Negative 4, bless you, square root of 3 minus 3 all over 10.
Easy.
You got to get all your parts done now. All right, and then number 9 was a unique question. This actually was an old Regents question. And I believe I gave you a clue in the notes. It said if A is arctan of negative 2/3, remember that's your angle. And that means the tangent of that angle A is negative 2/3. So flipping this one around, it means the tangent of angle B is positive 2/3. All right. The question is asking us for the tangent of A plus B. Go get the formula. When I was a kid, we had to memorize all of these. They weren't given to us on a Regents exam. Tan B over 1 minus tan A tan B. Thank you, Bisma. Now, do we know angle measures A and B, or do we know tan A tan B? Tan A tan B. So watch out what you're substituting. I know the tan of A here is negative 2/3. And I know the tangent of B is positive 2/3. Which actually makes my numerator 0. Which makes the answer 0. We can go and do the bottom as well. Negative 2/3 times 2/3 would be 1 plus 4/9. But it's just not going to matter. Yeah.
So if we got this like on the Regents exam and we just like, because I realized while I was doing the problem that if the zero is the numerator, it was going to be 0. Do you like suggest that we still continue going to show how we do it?
Yeah, especially this, and this.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
so just like continue going even though.
If you just put 0, let's say you just wrote a 0.
Yeah.
It is a 2-point question. It's referred to as a naked answer. It has no work, you get 1 point,
Okay.
even if you're right. So we don't want any
Wait,
of that.
do you have to finish the denominator though? Once you
Nah.
get the top?
No,
Nah.
that's what I was saying.
Nah,
Okay.
this is all good. Happy.
So you
Okay?
could have stopped right after
Yeah.
2/3 time.
Yeah. All right, now for a couple tricky, cuppy works, couple tricky word problems. We'll definitely do this top one and maybe the other one with a picture. Now I'm going to read to you, but if you do have your book and you find that's easier, your page numbers and the question numbers are right there. So page 492, number 21 says, we're going to label it as we go along. A telephone pole is braced by 2 wires that are both fastened to the ground at a point 15 feet from the base of the pole. What am I labeling? Good, Joel. 15. And that's a right angle for our telephone pole on the ground. The shorter wire is fastened to the pole 15 feet above the ground.
So first over this.
Right here, right? That's 15 as well. And the longer wire is 20 feet above the ground.
So 235 feet total.
Actually, the way it's written is that this is 20. The longer wire is 20 feet above the ground, fastened 20 feet. Okay. So if needed, we know that that little guy is 5. One of the first questions they're going to ask you should already be obvious. That lower triangle is beautiful, isosceles, which means,
So that angle. And the top left.
yep, and they are how much?
45.
Okay. Okay. It'll benefit you down the line if when you're filling stuff in a picture, if you know something else, just either tuck it in the back of your memory or write it in there. Okay, beautiful. Letter A. This is a 4-parter. Letter A. What is the measure in degrees of the angle that the shorter wire makes with the ground?
45.
See? Told you you'd need it. 45 degrees. Part B. Let theta be the measure of the angle that the longer wire makes with the ground. So we're going to call the longer wire with the ground that angle is theta.
Theta just means like some angle, right?
Yeah, it's like x or a. Yeah, theta. So that's that whole angle. Find the sine of that whole angle and the cosine of that whole angle. Sine of theta and cosine of theta. We need the hypotenuse, don't we? Yep, you're right, Bisma. Very good. Sine would be the opposite over the hypotenuse. We've got the opposite from this angle. It's 20. Using the Pythagorean theorem, let's find this hypotenuse. Tell me when you have it. Good job. 25. Because we have a 15 squared plus a 20 squared equals c squared. So the sine of the angle is 20 over 25, which reduces to 4/5. How about the cosine of the yellow angle? Adjacent over hypotenuse. Good. 3/5. Awesome. That wasn't too bad. Part C. I don't remember what we were learning in this section. Find the cosine of the angle between the wires where they meet at the ground. Let me try to put this one in red. The angle between the wires. They want this guy.
Is there 2 ways you can do that?
I'm not sure what you mean, but I had to draw this picture. Now I can't put it on the chalkboard. I had to do this for mod 1, and that was okay. I said if I have this, and I tell you this much is 50, and this much is 10, are you able to tell me that?
Yeah.
How do you do it? Subtraction, right? You know it if I give you numbers. The whole thing minus a part equals the other part. So the whole thing here was called what?
Theta.
Theta. And this bottom part is
45.
45. So they want us to find the value of cosine theta minus 45. Now it has to dawn on you what to do.
The 8 being the figure.
You need to go get that formula. Yep. Go get that formula. I usually write it above. We need cosine of A minus B.
Cos A, cos B, cosine A, sin B.
Thank you. And now, do we have SOHCAHTOA information or angle information at first? Angle at first, then SOHCAHTOA. Gina.
Why can't you just do the angle of the triangle that's 20 and the hypotenuse is 25 and 15, that angle minus the angle of 35? It's around
Wait, what do you want me to do?
The angle of the bigger triangle minus the angle of the smaller triangle is 45.
Okay, we will come back to that.
Give me 8.13. Yeah.
What?
So give me 8.13.
It's giving me the measure of the angle. Very good. That's part D. Part C, they actually want what this is.
Oh.
So you're a step ahead one way to find part D. So hold on to that thought because that's really good. Really good. Cos of, okay, we know A is going to be replaced with theta. So cos theta. Cos B is replaced with 45. Okay, and we know some of these. Do we know what cos of theta is? 3/5 from part B. Cosine of 45? Cosine of 45 degrees. Good. That's a chart value. Sine of theta? and sine of 45. Equal 2 over 2. All right, so a little arithmetic here. 3 radical 2 over 10 plus 4 radical 2 over 10 is 7. Good. 7 radical 2 over 10. All right, so what did we just figure out there? It's important to realize what we just found. It was the cosine of the
Or no, the smaller.
the little sliver, right? The cosine of the little sliver. Yep. It was the cosine of, I'm going to call it the skinny angle. Skinny angle, okay. Cosine of this skinny angle. Part D wants the angle. What is the skinny angle? What are we going to do? Go from here. And then I'll explain what Gina did again. Go. Can't I find the skinny angle? If I know the cosine of the angle, can't I find the angle? How do we do that? What do you put in your calculator? Second cosine of that. There you go. You're not allowed to forget anything we did in any of the other chapters. If you know the cosine of some angle, I'll use alpha now, skinny alpha, is 7 radical 2 over 10. Then you're going to cos inverse both sides. If you need that angle, cos inverse. The inverses get you the angles. And so that skinny angle is what?
8.13.
Let's call it 8 degrees. Beautiful. You got it. You got it using your answer to part C. Now Gina said, well, can't I just find the big angle and subtract 45? I could do that, right? How am I going to find the big angle? This whole thing. That was theta. That was theta, so use one of these. So let's make sure that works. If I know sine theta is 4/5, then theta would be sine inverse of 4/5. So find me that big angle. 53? Good job. So if that big angle is 53, and I subtract 45, what do I get? I sure do.
Wait, why can't you do tangent?
Well, I could, but I'm trying to use stuff that I've already figured out. I could. All right. They asked us to find the sine and the cosine because we needed it for this formula. And then once we had that value, we could inverse it to get our angle. All right. That would be a 6-point Regents question. Yeah, it is a lot of work. They always are. Let's start to set up page 496, number 21. I know that I'm going to get, you're going to get saved by the bell. I'm not. 496, number 21. Let's see how far we can get. An engineer wants to determine CD, the height of a building. That's what we're ultimately finding, the exact height of the building. To do this, he first locates B on CD and determines that that's 30 feet above the ground. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. This is 30, that little section right there. Then he locates point A, a point 40 feet from C. That's 40. Okay, I don't know about you, but right now in my head, I know AB.
50.
I got a 30 here. I'm sorry, no I don't. I have a 40 here, a 30 here.
50.
It's a 50, yeah. Okay, it's a 3, 4, 5, Pythagorean triple. From A, the engineer finds the angle of elevation to D is 45 degrees larger than the angle of elevation to B.
So,
Let me read it again. From A, the engineer finds the angle of elevation of D is 45 larger than theta, the angle to B.
so we call angle
Theta.
C, yeah, and then do 40 plus theta, right?
Theta here, 45 here, all together would be
5 plus theta.
okay. So you can see they're already setting you up with a sum of two angles. Part A says find AB. We already did it, 50, because we're so smart and so talented. Part B. Use sine theta and cos theta. Oh, I lied. We are talented, but we need sine of theta and cosine of theta first. Theta's just the little guy in here. Sine of theta first. 30 over 50, same as? Okay. And cos is going to be 4 over 5. Do the bookwork that is written as at home. Monday, it says we'll go over that homework, and it says you have a quiz. Have a nice 3 days off. I'm jealous.